Hi, it's Trevor Mealham again, and today I returned on bail to Canterbury Police Station. Here we are. So what's happening, it's a following on from the assault that happened at my property when all these very big men came along, in particular this thug, and there's some more here. Aren't they big brave men? Come to get one guy out in front of my 15-year-old son. And this was the result. So this is what happened to me. I had a heart attack, thanks to Kent Police, thanks to the Lloyds Bank bailiff thugs and the locksmith. And so where we are today, the police don't really know the law, but what's happening is the banks have been doing, people like Lloyds have been doing false loans. They're doing bait and switch, one of the 31 banned practices. For 10 years, I used to advise government on property fraud, money laundering. And I work now with various other people. I say work with volunteers, just trying to help victims. But what they do to SMEs, they offer loans, they don't fully come through with it. So if you see these government-backed loans, run for the hills. Because what they do, they only part come through with it, they bait you and then they do a switch. And then what they do, once they've got the charge on your property, they come for your property. Today, I found out who it was who is trying to go for me, and they're getting police protection along with the bailiffs. The bailiffs had nothing on their order about breaking into my property, and today I saw footage, cam footage, drone footage that the police had of the back of my property totally being smashed up, the windows, etc. I didn't have a chance. And that's what they do. The police are now working for the banks, for false bank court orders. We actually had an appeal in because the order was void, and under the bailiff rules, if there's an application in for void ab initio, they can't come anywhere near. But it seems to go amiss. What the police are doing is supporting these thugs, and a lot of the police don't even know what they're doing. And then when I went there today, I was also assaulted. There was a custody sergeant. I'll call him Shrek, so you can guess what he looked like. Got very, very loud, very, very rude. And when, I explained, have a bit of manners, he then went for me. There were then 3 on me, and then there were 20 in there. So what is it? One guy they keep going for. Well, the bits they need to be looking at is observance of due process. Look that up. You'll find it under current legislation. And basically, there's got to be due process. And if there isn't, then in law, it becomes void and holden for error. So they took my property on errors. It was bait and switch fraud anyway by Lloyds Bank. You've then got liberty of the subject, 1354. So you hear a lot of people mention this one. So if it's back to front. But again, under liberty of the subject, it says that no man or woman of what estate or condition that he be should be placed out of land or tenement, nor taken, nor imprisoned, nor disinherited, nor put to death without being brought in answer to due process. It's 1354. Is it still live? Yeah, it is. There it is on the government website, liberty of the subject. Look it up, because the police don't understand it. We've then got the Bill of Rights. And under the Bill of Rights, you will find that on page 2, you'll find it on legislation again, you'll find the benefit of the laws made for the liberty of the subjects. If it shows there. law, statutes, freedom of this realm. So it's not working again. So the police are not acting as law enforcement. The police are acting as policy enforcement for the corporates. They will use legalese, they will trip people up, they will place charges on your properties. They won't come through with what they should in many cases, especially SMEs, and then they will asset strip. So there's good old Kent Police. And what they're doing by putting me on bail, as I pointed out to the officers today, what they're doing is they're using bail as a false instrument, because what they're doing, the bail conditions are, I can't go near my property, and I can't go in the roads around my property, and I can't contact the criminal locksmith, and I can't contact the bailiffs that have acted criminally and had no order to force entry into my property. The order was void and there was an application in anyway. So it looks to me that we're then bringing in the Criminal Law Act 1967 section 4.1. I'll repeat that, the Criminal Law Act 1967 section 4.1, and this is where it's helping offenders to evade arrest and prosecution. So what we've got the banks doing bait and switch fraud on SMEs. They're placing charges. They are collapsing SMEs. You might have seen a panorama back in April 7th, 2025 this year, presented by Steve Brodie, and there were 3 of our cases on there. There was Cash Shabir, there was Martin Walls, and there was Keith Elliott. And the police even knew about those. And yet they still victimise the victims and protect the criminals. They don't know the law, and that's what's happening. So there you go. I'm on bail because of, and when I went there, I had Shrek the Sargeant then attack me and his mates, and then there were 20 around me. So on the 11th of July, I was assaulted by tens and tens and tens of them, with police assisting. It was a premeditated event, and through, this is about asset stripping. And I said to the officers today, this to me is resembling Nazi times. And I said to them, you know, my case now is in the European Court of Human Rights. So the filing was accepted, and what I said to the officers is, in my case, it's Protocol 1, Article 1, which is your right to property. It was Article 3, which is saviour from torture, be it psychological or physical, and harm. It's then, as I've been arrested by these muppets, it's then Article 5, taking away my liberty, and it's Article 6, which is right to a fair trial, and right to fair hearings, and that's also in the Magna Carta 1215, another bit of law that is still current. We've then got Article 8, ECHR Article 8, European Court of Human Rights Article 8, and this is, you have a right to a peaceful life in your property. So if the bailiffs and their mates, the police, you know, maybe they've been at the pub, having a drink, having a good laugh at all this that they're doing to people. Maybe there's brown envelopes floating about, really don't know. Maybe there's other things, who knows, what you read a lot in the press, don't you? But for sure, the police are not protecting the citizens, the civilians, the subjects, call it whatever you will. What they're doing is protecting the policy of the people that are thieving and stealing off of the public. So that's what's happening, and further updates to follow.